completely different species. They are though from the same family. Now that family are called pinnipeds. All pinniped means is flipper-footed. Yes, they do look very similar, but there are so many differences between them. So between the three of us, we're going to narrow it down to just a few simple, easy ways on how to tell the difference between a seal and a sea lion. Now the first thing to look for is watch how seals and sea lions swim. It's very different. So we'll start with sea lions. Sea lions, just like these two boys, will only ever swim using their big front flippers. Show me big front flippers, please, Arthur. Where's your flippers? Thank you. Where's your flippers? Thank you. Where's your flippers? Hi, welcome. There you go. Now, as you can see, these boys have huge, big, wing-like flippers, and they use those flippers in the water in what looks like a kind of flying motion. So that's the kind of action you'll see them using. Now, by doing that, we'll push them at speeds of anything up to around 20 miles an hour. If these two are seals, however, of course they have flippers, but this time they're tiny, quite literally about the size of my hands. In fact, Arthur, show me a flipper. Look at my hand, look at Arthur's flipper, okay? That's how tiny a little seal's flippers are. So obviously a seal couldn't swim with them, so instead a seal will swim with its back flippers, but very differently. They'll move those back flippers from side to side like a fish. So by watching how both species swim is always a very good way, excuse me, on how to tell the difference. So remember, sea lions only swim with those front flippers, seals only ever swim with their back flippers. Now because these boys use that massive upper body to swim with, because, where's he gone? Because that's where all their muscles are, in their chest, necks and shoulders, it means they're incredibly powerful, incredibly strong and absolutely brilliant at a little bit of gymnastics. Arthur, when you are ready, can you show me a bit of gymnastics, please? You weren't concentrating then, were you? There you go. Now this is what we, hold it up for me, this is what we call a front flipper stand. Only a sea lion could do this. A seal couldn't do it, their front flippers are too tiny, they couldn't support their weight. Now Arthur has something a seal doesn't have. Let me flip it. So, can I borrow your flipper, please? You're not constant, you're sleepy today, aren't you? That's okay. So this area here is our wrist, from here down is our fingers. In actual fact, the sea lion's flippers have the same bone structure as a human hand. So what Arthur's actually doing is he's showing you the equivalent of your handstand. But remember, he's 21 stone of solid weight. We're going to get him to do it one more time, okay? And you must give him a great big round of applause, okay? One big one, Arthur. Are we ready? One big one for me. Hold it up there. Hold it up. Well done. Good boy. Good boy. Now this is something we have been trying to teach little Roger. And I do emphasise the word trying because we've been trying for 3 years. Okay? And as you can see, Roger is nowhere near as big as his big brother. So Roger hasn't quite got that upper body strength to find that balance. He's like a little seesaw, but we'll show you where he's up to because he's not doing so bad, okay? Rog, show everyone yours. You ready? Come on, you've got this. Come on, you keep going, you keep trying. Keep trying, a bit harder. He's nearly got it. Go on, one more big one. Give him a nice little round of applause for trying. Now, as Roger gets older and a little bit taller, he'll be able to do it exactly the same way as his brother. Now, the easiest way to tell them apart is to watch how seals and sea lions move on dry land. It's very, very different. Now, I'm going to take Arthur for a walk with me. And between the two of us, we're going to explain exactly how it's done. Arthur, come with me. Excuse me. Roger, stay there. No, or you can just ignore me completely. There you go. Now, sea lions have an incredibly unique ability which allow them to rotate that massive back flippers underneath their bodies when they join dry land. Arthur's flippers are behind him. Watch what happens right now. Can you see that? Those flippers are now just tucked under his body and they've just split. Arthur has just, don't mind me, Arthur has just formed himself a pair of feet. Watch. He is walking with me now in exactly the same way as any other four-legged animal would do. Each one of those flippers now moves independently of each other. Now for sea lions, this is pretty amazing because it means sea lions are so much more mobile. For instance, if Arthur needs to, he can easily jump over things. Arthur can turn his back flippers into a huge pair of feet in which he can stand up and try and reach up for things. And he can run on dry land at speeds of anything up to around 10 to maybe 12 miles an hour. So even on dry land, sea lions, they're still more mobile. Now if Arthur here was a true seal, he will move completely differently. Just before we explain to you how tiny a seal's front flippers are. Yeah, they can't lift the waist from the floor, they can't flip the flippers underneath them. So when a seal moves on dry land, they kind of look like a caterpillar. Arthur, help me out here. Show these lovely people, how would a seal move on dry land? There you go. So a seal would have to shuffle along on its belly like a great big giant caterpillar. So seals, in contrast to sea lions, they're not mobile creatures. Seals can't walk, seals can't climb, seals definitely can't run because seals have tiny front flippers. Give him a nice little round of applause. Now Roger's going to show you something else that those little flippers come in useful for, and it's something they do all the time, especially when they're playing. They simply have the ability to roll themselves over. Well done, Roger, as well. Good little boy. Now we're going to move on to things that seals and sea lions do share in the wild. The first one, of course, it's their food, the daily diet of fish and squid. Obviously here at the park, we give our boys their food. So today they've got herring, they've got mackerel and they've got spats. But in the wild, they have to catch that for themselves. So apart from using those vitally important whiskers, sea lions need to have good eyesight, but they do need to have a good sense of speed, direction and the coordination in order to catch their food. So just to show you how good they are at catching things, I'm going to throw 5 rings to Roger. Let's see if he can catch all 5 over his head. Okay, you're going to sneeze? Thank you. Well done. Okay, 5 rings. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. They were pretty easy, weren't they? So the last one, I'm actually going to flip it. It makes it a little harder, a little bit faster for him to try and catch. Are we ready? Here we go. And 5. All 5 of them go. That was a pretty good one, Rog. Thank you. Give yourself a little clap. Absolutely. Now there is something else in the wild that seals and sea lions share, only this time it's very big, it's very deadly, because it is of course their predators. California sea lions have 2 main predators. The first one is the killer whale, or the orca as it should be called. I'm not going to tell you the next one. You see, Arthur's going to show you. Now Arthur's deadliest enemy in the wild would of course be the dreaded shark. So your tiger shark, your bull shark and your great white shark, they love to eat a California sea lion. Now sea lions are very, very clever little creatures because when they know a predator is anywhere nearby, they'll do the one simple obvious thing, which is to return right back to the shore where they're nice and safe. And don't forget, sea lions, they do actually live on dry land, they don't live on water. Give Arthur a huge round of applause. Now we're not that far from the end of the display, but before we go, these 2, they're going to finish off with the best bit. This is where you get to see just how powerful these flippers truly are. Because independently, they're both going to push themselves up out of the water in the hope of touching this pink ball. Okay? Right guys, what I am going to say after these people, no one else come down those stairs for me please. It's just very distracting to these guys, okay? And you will get wet. Just put out there for you. Okay. So we're going to leave Roger's high ball to there. Now Roger truly is a little high ball daredevil because Roger's going to start his high ball attempt from right up there on top of that tower. So Roger's going to go across, he will climb those stairs. When he gets to the top, he will dive off into the water, swim across and hopefully push himself up to hit that ball. If he does it, great big cheer, okay? Come on Roger, where are you going? Now just before we explain to everybody how mobile a sea lion is. Watch how easily Roger climbs those stairs. There he goes. Now